Keep on rocking in the
free world. Keep on rocking in the free world.
All right, let's talk about the worst parts of van life, the stuff that's just unbearable. And you may want to consider this if you want to get into this lifestyle. There's a lot of negatives, and it may take some adjusting, or you may just change your mind completely and decide to rent an apartment instead. So let's go over it. I think the first thing is that your view changes every day. I mean, who wants that? Wouldn't it be better to look out your bedroom window in a basement suite and see the same thing? Maybe the house next door, maybe a fence, maybe a grassy backyard, who knows, depending on where you live. But that to me just seems so much more comforting if it's the same thing every day. You know what I mean? The other thing too is that if you live the van life, you probably won't have to deal with bitchy, whiny neighbors next door, or someone complaining about your music being on late at night, or something like that. And that's just no fun, right? Like, what's the point in living if you never get complaints and you never have to deal with stuff like that? I mean, that's just boring. I wouldn't have to worry about things like wrapping my vehicle this purple, or giving my van a paint job, or making it all look pretty, because if I rent a place, I wouldn't be allowed to. So that's just one less thing to worry about. So it'd be a lot easier if I just rented a place and I wouldn't have to worry about, pimping out my van. Yeah, it's just a waste of time. I feel like I'm missing out on is I don't get to complain about gas prices and ferry prices and all these things that everyone in Vancouver likes to complain about all the time. I feel like I'm really missing out on this, and it's kind of disappointing, really. I mean, $1.30 a liter for gas, or $80 to get on some of the ferries. For me, I'm not paying rent, so I never really think twice about that sort of thing, but everyone else seems to complain about those things all the time. So what am I missing out on? I mean, I'm kind of feeling a little isolated here, so that's kind of disappointing. One other thing that really sucks is that I never get to experience having to call a cab to get home after a night out with some friends, or downtown at the clubs, or at a bar, pub, something like that. I mean, I just walk out to my house, it's parked in the parking lot, and go to bed. But that's no fun. It's way more fun to spend $40, $50 on a cab, commuting. I mean, I don't even know what the word is. I mean, I park right next to my work sometimes, I just walk into work when I wake up. But everyone else seems to really enjoy driving all across the city, sitting in traffic sometimes for hours at a time to get to work every day, just so they can work all day, then sit in traffic again to go home. And they do all that just to pay for that home. I mean, there must be something to it, because everyone's doing it. So, again, I feel left out. And when I go traveling, I never, ever, ever get to look for motels and hotels and pay a whole bunch of money to sleep there for the night. I mean, as it is now, I just pull over next to a lake or river, a nice place to park, and go to sleep. Again, that's no fun. I'd rather sleep in a bed that thousands of other people have slept in and pay for that privilege. Sounds good to me. And, here I am sitting outside, exposed to the elements, where I could be locked inside in a basement somewhere, staring at a computer screen all day, and then I wouldn't be bothered with having to meet all these cool and interesting people that I meet all the time doing this. It's just a real pain in the butt. Just leave me alone. I'd rather be a hermit in a basement somewhere. I wouldn't have to worry about things like this. I mean, who needs solar panels if you can just pay a big bill every month and rely on a third-party electrical grid that millions of other people use, and whenever there's a windstorm and the power goes out, you freeze in the dark. But who cares? Seems fun to me. And last but not least, I don't know what to do with my money. I save all this money on rent and bills, and I jump on ferries and fill up my gas tank and all that fun stuff. But I really should join the revolution of people that are out there paying someone else's mortgage off, paying rent every month. Again, everyone else seems to be doing it, so there must be something to it. It must be awfully exciting, and that would be great. I wouldn't have to worry about where to spend my money anymore if I just gave it all to a landlord. Suddenly I don't have any worries anymore because I've got no money to spend. Makes sense, right? And if I rented a place, I wouldn't have the hassle of drilling holes in my roof for a wood stove or installing cool lights inside because, again, I wouldn't be allowed to. I don't own the place. And even if you own a place, like a condo or a townhouse or something like that, they still tell you that you can't even change the color of your curtains, or you can't paint the outside whatever color you want to do because there's all these strata bylaws and homeowners associations. Those sound like a lot of fun, the homeowners associations, definitely. Like a cool club that I'm not part of, you know, where they tell everyone else what they can and can't do with their own property. Sounds like a great time. So if all this stuff sounds terrible to you as well, then you should probably consider just renting an apartment. Obviously, I'm doing something wrong. Keep on rocking in the free world, everyone.
This Labor Day long weekend, we're making van life great again at CamperCon! Sunday, September 3rd in Vancouver. Get all the details online at rv.live.